There are thousands of DOS games. Most of them are terrible. I play one selected at random with a 20-minute time limit and record it live. This is the result. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another random DOS game show. And this is Dragonsphere, which I know nothing about. So we've got an intro, which I'll skip, and let's just start and see what happens. Novice. Sounds good to me. Hey! I know this sort of game.
The Dragonsphere stirs, my lord,
Ooh.
and more powerfully than before.
So we've got a choice already. It's got sort of that LucasArts style choice and consequence. Very well, await me in the council chamber, or let me sleep will destroy the sorcerer another day. I don't think that's a good option.
Very well. Await me in the council chamber.
Interesting. So are we some sort of prince? Which would not be surprising for a point-and-click adventure game.
As you wish, my lord. Your mother and I await your pleasure.
Okay, the voice acting is very basic. And you have to click through each time there's something going on. So we've got contextually sensitive mouse cursor in that there's a little bit at the bottom here, which will tell you, hey, you should do this. You've got a lot of actions there. Look at this. Look, take, push, open, put, talk to, give, pull, close, throw. Wow. So, I guess we better get up. Yes, we have successfully got up. And we're using a wash basin. I don't really recall saying to the guy to... before you do anything at all in the morning, you always need a good wash. Yeah, amen. Now you feel better. You briefly consider shaving, but decide not to. You might as well get used to roughing it. Unfortunately, your valet is not yet used to his duties, and forgot to leave a towel. You'll just have to air dry. Oh, that's terrible. What a plight. So, this guy is literally royalty by the looks of things. Gets waited on hand and foot, has servants and stuff. Your teacher of etiquette always said, do nothing in the clothes in which you sleep except sleep. Despite the few exceptions you've discovered as you grew older, you've found it to be pretty sound advice. Now dressed in your travelling clothes, you feel ready for anything. What was it you meant to do next? That's a good question. So we've got various options. But I also have a handy FAQ to the left of me, so I can give a decent interpretation of what this game is. Let's see. Let's go to this book. Yes, indeedy. So, it's like a lot of point-and-click adventure games in that it doesn't give you an immediate sort of situation when you click on something and yep, you're dead. So you can look with the right click. It's a book of love poems given to you by your wife as a present on your wedding day. An odd thing for a woman to give a man, but she's a very special woman. You keep it by your bed and leaf through it now and then. Okay, well, let's use one of the contextually sensitive things and open the book. Let's have a look. Fondly you leaf through the pages, skimming well-remembered verses like, how do I love thee? Let me count the ways. And soft, what light through yonder window breaks. You think then of Fiona, your wife, and a tear comes to your eye as you close the book. Suppose you never see her again. See, this is the important information we missed in the introduction. So, his wife's been kidnapped, is my guess, and all we've got is some robes and a signet ring. Okay. Guess we'll go elsewhere, huh? And see what's going on in the rest of the castle. We're using MT32 for sound here, but we also have, like, digitized audio, as you've heard. Let's see. Shelf on the left. Diaries. I mean, I could sort of, bumble through this, but I'd rather, have the FAQ. These look like Fiona's personal diaries, perhaps spanning back many years. Though you normally wouldn't consider such a thing, the thought of your possible fate makes you consider reading them, if only to know Fiona a little better. Yeah, I mean, you should probably know your wife, man. I suppose if it's a royal marriage, let's have a little read. What have you discovered? Your desperate curiosity finally overcomes your natural respect for other people's property. Leafing through quickly, you find that the first book is from 20 years ago, when the sorcerer was first challenged. The other is very recent. A message in the first book catches your eye. It says, "My husband-to-be, the prince, has ridden off with his father and Nertom the wizard. They're going to face the sorcerer Sanway to try and imprison or destroy him forever. I fear for the prince. Will I be a widow before I am even married?" Well, no, you won't be, because that's a physical impossibility. You have to get married first in order to be a widow. Come on! You had no idea she was worried back then, of course. At 13, you're not always aware of everything going on. Oh, no. Come on, man. Are you leafing through more? You switch to the second book and spy another interesting entry. 20 years later, and the sorcerer's curse is nigh. My husband, now the king, is in mortal danger. Nertom cannot defeat Sanway. There is no other to help, but we cannot just sit and wait for the sorcerer to strike. I feel so helpless. With a heavy heart, you close the diaries and return them to their place on the shelf. For Fiona's sake, you must defeat the sorcerer. You must! Okay. So, interesting bit of contextual background for us. There's some evil sorcerer, and we're just chilling in our palace. We're not that bothered. So I guess we can't go that way. Sure. I mean, we could probably take the flowers or something. It might be needed. I'm only sort of glancing at the. Let's see. Walk through to the ballroom. Yeah, sure, why not? Why not? Hey, a person. Alright. Let's, look at the scullery maid. A dutiful castle servant is scrubbing manfully, or is it maidfully, at the spills on the floor. You don't remember her name, but she served your father well for almost a year now. Sweet. I feel like we probably missed something in that other room, but let's just chat to her and see if the voice acting gets any better.
Not quite cleaned up yet, are we?
Well, that's a lovely start. And as you can see, I'm not clicking ahead, and it just pauses on whatever the sentence is and waits for you to click.
Good morning, my lord. I trust you slept well.
Okay, the voice acting is not great. Is that it? So you're just gonna say, "Good morning, lord"? Alright. Oh, what's that? Bone. Take. And bone. You never know when we might need a bone. Eating partly eaten food, even food that's been on the ground, has never bothered you. What? He's a prince, you'd have thought it would have bothered him. You don't have time for a formal meal, so you grab the bone. And you nibble a bit of the cold meat from the bone. It's tasteless, as cold meat tends to be, but filling. Awesome. So, Bone Eating Simulator, 1990 something. Let's carry on, shall we? Hey! Some other dude.
Sorry, brother. I was just thinking, and this was a convenient place to sit.
Uh-huh. Is that right? You sitting on my chair, bro? Or my wife's chair? You wouldn't happen to be in league with the wizard that, kidnapped my wife, no? When I am dead, you may sit there. Not before.
When I am dead, you may sit there. Not before.
You tell him. Alright.
I'll grant that never happened, Kalish.
Yes, peace be with you.
Peace be with you, McMorn.
Yes, MacMorn, my brother. You would never stab me in the back.
And with you be peace.
Okay. So, see you later. Bye. Okay, that's cool. Let's go to the council room. Or we could sit on the Queen's throne.
You've seen the Dragonsphere.
Have I?
I pray you're not still resolved to go alone.
That's what princes do in point-and-click adventure games. They go alone and they solve all the problems. Haven't you seen one of these before?
I am.
Oh, great response.
Tirnoch Bronway is deadly, my lord. Why not wait safely here? Hide from the sorcerer, or at least meet him on your own ground.
Because he'll have time to get ready and mess me up?
If we wait, Sanwi will only become more powerful as he
Exactly.
recovers from the spell of imprisonment.
Yeah.
I must go to his tower before he wakes fully.
Will
Okay.
you not reconsider and take the army, my lord? I beg you.
Nay, even weakened, the sorcerer has powerful spells that could destroy an army once he knew they were coming. One man, traveling alone, is anonymous. This is my responsibility and the legacy of my father. I will face the sorcerer alone.
This plotline is actually very similar to the legend of Kyrandia, because they had just was it Prince Malcolm? No, Malcolm was the bad guy. They had the prince. He's so forgettable, I've forgotten his name. Brandon. They had him and him alone try and defeat the evil sort of magic jester type, because the jester was sort of completely oblivious to the thought of one person going alone. It's the same in The Lord of the Rings, you know, it's a common plot line.
He is headstrong, like his father. Let us gift him and wish him God.
Yes, thank you,
I
bye.
have for you a sword of magical sharpness.
Okay,
May you use it to strike Sanwi's head from his shoulders.
shall do.
Although it is
good
said
lord.
that no sword may harm Sonway, perhaps it will have other uses. And I have for you a small shielding spell, like the
Okay.
one that surrounds
Yep.
These were my father's.
Yep,
That's right. And they never fail.
Good luck,
Okay.
husband. Please be careful.
wait, husband? I thought you were kidnapped. I'm very confused now. So, she wasn't kidnapped. She was just sort of stood there, chilling with her mother-in-law. Let's pick up the sword. We'll take that, thank you very much, and strike this guy's head from his shoulders. You lift the sword, feeling its comforting heft, before attaching it to your belt. As an afterthought, you flip your cloak over the scabbard, since seeing the king armed as if for battle might alarm some people. It might indeed. Carve up, attack, or thrust. There's gonna be combat, isn't there? Let's see. Where can we go now? To the guard room. Why not? Why not? Let's see if we can get out of this castle. Hey, just me, the king. I'm just gonna wander down here to the cells. I'm not entirely sure why, but sure, why not? Let's go in here. So there's a floor grate, some bedding. Ooh, might go for a wee nap. There's a calendar. Somebody managed to bring a piece of chalk into the cell with him and was using the wall to mark off the days. You wonder what transpired during his 15-day stay. Alright, so that just takes us back. Okay, cool. Let's have a look at the guard stool. The poor guard who has to sit on this probably curses the days he and his prisoner were born. You wonder who has it worse. At least the prisoner has some straw to lie down on. Ho ho ho, game well observed. You'll have to see about improving conditions here a little bit. Yes, indeed, I must. So that's a bit of a dead end, really. Let's go through to the cell, see if there's anything. Oh, bit of interesting clipping there. Don't know if you noticed that. Let's see if we can replicate that. That was quite entertaining. Hey, Prince Dude, King Dude, just go No. Oh well. Maybe it was a one-off mistake. But anyway, let's look at the grate. An underground river rushes by beneath the floor grate. The grate serves as a privy and disposal. The river carries things away. And since there is a steady flow from the underground spring, a supply of fresh drinking water. It would be impossible for a prisoner to escape via the river because of grates set into the river's path. Right, okay. So, I'm going to leave it there because this is very dry. Very dry. What is this? It's like King's Quest, but done completely straight without any of the humour and any of the whimsical fantasy. It's like Legend of Kyrandia, which I played recently, but without any of the humour. It's completely straight. The dialogue, like I said, is really dry, quite lengthy, and it touts itself as a serious adventure game, but has the most fantasy of fantasy tropes. So, Dragonsphere. Would I recommend it? I mean, if you're a point-and-click adventure fan, it's another one to play, I guess. I'd have a look at it, I guess. You know, it doesn't look terrible. And that's something I have to say in its favour. The music was sound. The voice acting, not great, but, you know, passable. And the interface, it's alright. Everything's there, you know, it functions. And that's all you need in a point-and-click adventure game, really. And if you like me playing a bit of DOS games and giving my opinion on them, feel free to check out the hundreds of other videos in all different kinds of genres. And if you like what you see there, you can subscribe, but it's not mandatory. And I'll see you next time. I'm going to leave this king to rot in the cell. The guards are going to be very, very confused. Until next time, Your Majesty.